Well, Ray, a 14-year-old record, long-standing and going to be very, very hard to break. What is the record and what's involved in achieving it?
Well, the current world record, Frank, stands at 70 metres. And what's involved in it is the Guinness Book of World Records have got rules and regulations which we must obey by. Those rules and regulations are the attempt must be done on level ground. We must use a recognisable model car. We cannot use any flying aids such as balancing the car, any wing spoilers. Will be disqualified for that sort of stuff if we were to use them. And of course, the other hard part of all is that we must land in a controllable condition. And in other words, they don't mind you crashing, but you just got to keep this car on its wheels.
Interesting stuff. It's going to be very, very hard. You're flying across through the air off the top of the ramp around about 3.5 metres, and then what height will you reach while you're halfway down that 70-metre track?
We were looking at probably 4 to 5 stories high up peak before we start our descent. And then, of course, the exciting part, the landing.
Well, Ray, we're about halfway down to 70 metres. Car number 20 just went by. What's going through your mind when you're in the air up here?
Well, the thing is, Frank, once you've left that ramp, you don't get a lot of time to think at all. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen regardless of what I do up there. So what you're basically doing is preparing yourself for the landing. And it always happens, and it hurts.
It's going to be interesting. We're drawing very close to the end, and looking back at the ramp, it is a long, long way. Obviously, speed is not the important thing, but I guess by here you would know, and as you say, you'll be preparing yourself for the landing. What's the impact like?
The impact's so severe because we can't see the impact. To give you some idea, it's sort of like walking through a dark room knowing someone's going to smack you in the head with a softball bat. You just don't know when and where and what angle because you can't see nothing. All you can see is the sky when you're coming along here.
Well, Ray, we're at the 70-metre mark now, right on the track here. It's a long way back to the ramp. Can you see yourself going past this point?
I think we're looking around, somewhere around the 10-metre mark we'll break this record by.
So you're hoping for 80 metres, and that's going to really set the cat amongst the pigeons as far as the world record holder is concerned.
I think we're well and truly in the ballpark, yeah. We've done our as near as mathematics as we can with something like this. One thing about what we're doing too is that unless you've done it before, exactly with the same conditions, you'll never know. And we've done a few alterations, and we believe they'll be the ones that will pay off.
Ray, 2 previous attempts, one with the Ford, one with a Valiant Charger. Why this time a HX Kingswood?
Well, what we're doing is we're doing the record here in Australia, and Australians build extremely good cars, and we've tried the other 2, so now we're doing the, you couldn't get more Australian than the Kingswood, of course.
Indeed not. You're looking at a pretty standard car here. What modifications have you made for the world record jump?
Well, as the rules state, we must have a recognisable model car. We've added no aids in the way of flying. She's just a conventional registered car. The only thing we've done is pull the windows out. We've taken the interior out just for fire reasons, and basically that's about it. Just put the cage in. 160
kilometres an hour, 70 metres through the air. Ray, we wish you all the best and hope you beat that world record.
Thank you very much, Frank.
During the event, there was plenty of opportunity while the next stunt was set up for us to conduct a burnout competition to end all burnout competitions. These guys are the burnout champions of Western Australia. They've been the top runners in every burnout show at every car show in WA, and it was an honour to have them all at Ravenswood Raceway to determine once and for all who the ultimate champion was going to be. And some great power on the track. Morris Hammersley with his HK, and Roscoe McGlashan, another world record setter, person who hoped to set a world record, down there to see all the fun. The cars in the burnout comps were very, very stunning. A 350 small block Chevy in an EH Holden, and that was a car that was getting a lot of fans in the crowd. And if you'd like unusual, how about a small block Windsor powered Capri fueled by LPG, and showing that LPG in no ways limits your opportunity to make horsepower. Stokes boiling the tyres in the little Capri. And the event was judged by 4 judges who have been involved in burnout comp, drag racing and the show car scene for quite some time. They found their 2 ultimate finalists, and then the ultimate burnout king was determined by crowd reaction. Burnout Kings performing well in the areas of control, horsepower and excellent spectator spectacle. And Ray, I guess from where you were concentrating on the show, but you really couldn't miss this sort of action out on the track.
You did right, Stewie. These guys did a tremendous job, eh? I mean, it was just awesome. Even where I was sitting in these stunt cars, the smoke and the revs that were peeling off, these guys were out to kill some seriously good motors by the sounds of it.
Well, all beautiful cars. The cars are very, very well presented, and they're not frightened of revving them up. And I guess the equivalent here are the guys who go up to Wanneroo or anywhere else, a very nice street car, and just get out there and race them.
Yeah, but these guys are a breed unto their own, eh? They're out there solely to give the crowd a 100% burnout show, and they did it absolutely fantastic. I didn't believe that they'd give these cars such a hammering, Stuart. I really didn't.
The Respect Yourself Burnout competition, the only opportunity to find out who really is the Burnout King in Western Australia. And not only the bragging rights goes with this, but $500 cash to the winner. And it was a spectacular show that the crowd will never forget. Perfect conditions, beautiful calm evening, the massive clouds of smoke from high-performance, well-presented vehicles.
Morris comes second, Timmy wins!
A Sunday afternoon sitting around a barbecue, we often go for a corkscrew. I notice a stunt called the corkscrew. What's going to happen this time?
Well, Frank, probably the corkscrew, as far as for the spectator, is probably one of the most fantastic things to watch. What it is that we've all seen the American car movies where the bad guy gets chased and he spirals his car through the air. This is what we'll be doing tonight. The only difference is that we're doing it off a 10-foot high ramp. Then we've got our corkscrew on top of it, so should be a vicious impact for me. They actually buckle and bend the whole car before they actually leave the ramp. That's how severe it is. The ramp is actually a train track mounted to one side that we just run the whole under suspension, undercarriage of the car up.
So you'll be launching at around about 4.5 metres. At what speed will that be done, Ray?
We're looking once again around 40 to 50 miles an hour, somewhere around there. Depends how the night goes and depends how we're feeling and things like that, because I mean, if we're feeling a bit brittle, then you want to save yourself for the big one, eh? And it does hurt every single one of them, eh?
Ray, not only 80 kilometres an hour of speed off the top of the ramp, but tremendous height achieved. You can see the corkscrew there. How on earth did you dream up the chance to throw a vehicle 50 feet forward and about 50 feet up in the air?
Stewie, the beautiful thing with these corkscrew ramps is we can build them and adjust them to any angle that we want, depending on whether we want to go length or height. And as you can see here, we're going purely for height.
Well, absolutely incredible. You told us it would go about 50 feet up. We had to bring the guys in from Coates Hire with an auxiliary lighting plant to get the light up in the sky, and you just drove straight up into the beams. What a showman.
Yeah, we're trying to get those lights, eh? Sooner or later we'll get them. The pyrotechnics boys did a fantastic job, and as you notice, there's Mark Curl, my chief coordinator, doing an absolutely tremendous job along with Shane Higgins and, of course, Rick Fisher.
It's a really big bang, Ray. Is it like hitting cars head-on when you're dropping straight down and waiting for the ground? You don't know where it is.
Well, about this point now, Stewie, I'm just going around in circles and I'm just bracing myself.
It's an incredible sight. One of the stunts that just took my breath away.
It's an exciting stunt because the crowd love it, because you just don't know what to... It's a very unusual sight to see a car do what that does.
Very unusual. You don't expect to see a Falcon station wagon falling from the sky. I notice it flies exactly like a brick would fly.
Yeah, very aerodynamic, Stewie, sideways, upside down, and every other way it gets. But the good thing with the corkscrew ramps is you're guaranteed a spectacular crash, and the crash is what we're all about.
Mate, you've defied all the laws except the law of gravity. A big slam down and a tumble at the end. I guess that helped to take a bit of the shock of the landing. It does, Stewie, it really does. And especially the tyres, the crunch cars, it makes a big, big difference for me, the driver. It is spectacular.
Absolutely magnificent!
Coming at you after the break, the world record jump.
He defied the odds.